look at
who is the
incidents,
greatest footballer?
when you look
you
at
said you don't like Ronaldo.
For
Who is
me,
the greatest footballer?
I feel like you cannot outrightly. Football is not black or white.
Mention the name.
Football is not black or white, and football did not just start in
Okay.
2000.
Before we are not sharing trophies.
Did you watch Ian Cruyff? Did you watch Pele?
Oh my
Did you watch Maradona?
All right.
These African teams, like you said, it's not a tactic, it's their strength. You can only play with what you have. You cannot borrow Messi to come and play for Senegal but the players they have are physical, very physical players. You look at Morocco. Morocco does not rely totally on physicality. They are more physical than most of these European teams, but they don't rely solely on physicality. They are tactical, they are flexible. When I said Morocco is the best African team, you said Senegal. I said it's a lie. See, it's not about this, is about how you can maneuver your game. It's about how you can play yourself into a game. Look at Portugal. They have, let me say, currently in the world, the best midfield in the world right now. What has it done so far in this tournament? Nothing. It shows to you that, you see, club club performance does not automatically transform into country. Because in this case, coaches of national team, they have little period to gather their team. In club, you have training session almost every day. But for countries, it is only maybe 1 week or 2 weeks to camp. You gather and you have to get a performance.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is where it all begins. Welcome to the very first episode of Culture 11. And of course, this is the podcast where we get to talk a whole lot about football, talk about the biggest debates, the hottest topics in the world of football, and of course, test our football knowledge. I'm your host. They call me Josh the Black Boy Coffee, and I'm never alone in the studio. I'll be doing this with two wonderful young men who love football, and they can go at each other for hours. And that's what we need on this podcast. To my right, I've got Smurfy. What's up, Smurf? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, the World Cup has been so interesting. We've been seeing a lot of dark horses turning up. We've been seeing a lot of keepers getting or maybe deserved point for their team. And then we've seen a lot of African teams not managing the final 10 minutes, but it's still the World Cup, and it's what we love to see.
All right, so you'd expect upsets once in a while. But yes, for a World Cup that a lot of people probably didn't have, a lot of anticipation for, based off one or two reasons that may or may not be football related. It has brought a lot of drama, and it has turned into a competition and a campaign that a lot of people are enjoying so far. You heard from Smurf. Smurf is not the only one in the studio. We've got Covenant right here with me. What's up, Covenant? How are you doing today?
Yeah, you see, if you look at this World Cup, the fact that Nigeria is not there. So I sat on the couch, and what I'm doing is 8 watch. And so far, there's been a lot of successful 8 watch. And sometimes you just have to accept your loss and be like, okay, we live to fight another day. So just like the Tower tips, they are still there.
The Tower, you're talking about Morocco.
I didn't mention any country.
Well, I'm mentioning it for you.
They will be back home very soon. I promise them very soon. We are going to catch up with them. So the people that wants to go back to their jobs, they're back.
They're back.
Yes, exactly.
So they can, go back to their jobs and everything. And
they're taking their football.
Our Charlie brothers too. That the only thing they have against us is jollof rice that we always fight about. They are back home too.
No, they're not back. They have a
back
game soon.
You are moving ahead of yourself.
I promise them we'll be back soon. So Senegal, God. Well, I could have been proud of them, but unfortunately they couldn't do it. So they are back home too. So I just think, as African that I am, I want to support some. I don't want to support some. So it's good news and bad news, but very soon. I know an African country is not going to win it. I know that one for sure. I told you at the beginning. Well, they are not going to win.
Even if you're not telling me, but I say we know. But the World Cup, like I said at the beginning, a lot of people definitely they had 1 or 2 reservations about it. But right now, you can tell yourself that every single pair of eyes all around Africa and beyond, they are glued to their screen right now because a lot of drama and upsets have happened so far in the World Cup campaign of 2026. 10 African countries made their way to the World Cup, and of course, 9 African countries made it into the round of 32. Talking about Morocco, South Africa, Ivory Coast, DR Congo, Algeria, Egypt, Cape Verde, and of course, Ghana. When that happened, it caused a lot of celebrations for a lot of people, except for, South Africa, which a lot of, Africans didn't want to get there, which was why they celebrated when they lost, in the round of 32. But it wasn't just South Africa who made it away. Also, 3 other countries have joined them because 5 African countries have played so far in the round of 32. And South Africa has been eliminated Ivory Coast, sadly, has been eliminated as well. They tried all their best, but, football can be so disappointing once in a while. DR Congo is another country that followed that path as well because, they had it. In the 7th minute, they scored against England. A struggling England team in that game. I think I can give it to DR Congo because they played really good football in that particular 90 minutes. What do you think about that game?
To think that DR Congo is one of the club or the teams that I did not expect them to get to the round of 32. They did well in their first game against what's it called, Portugal. They did well in their other game. So so you would not expect DR Congo to even go into that game leading 1-0, and they had an opportunity to put the game away by Yohan Wissa and hits the post. Throughout that game, it feels like Tuchel. For me, I was expecting. I was even praying that England should lose that game and Tuchel should get sacked. Why? Because I feel that is not the way to coach a team. You have all the old Arsenal, you have all the old good players, but you cannot put them to good use. Rashford for the majority of the game played as if he was playing for himself, and then he made some sub. I expected him to bring in people who could affect the game positively, and he kept on waiting. If not for Anthony Gordon, who created that 2 assists, maybe England would be out of the World Cup by now. But then the 3 points going into the next round is a good one for Tuchel, good one for England, because if England had not won that game, Tuchel will be out of England's job, because all these English legends never wanted him at the ends of affair, and even some of the fans too don't want Tuchel, because the culture of England is you cannot bring a foreigner to come and coach the Three Lions. He's just lucky to be there, and up until now, I'm not convinced that he deserves that job. But Congo should have won. Congo should have scored a second goal, and it would have given them an edge in the game.
A lot of doubts has been raised about Thomas Tuchel, actually, especially when he first released his list of players, 26-man list of players that he will be taking to the World Cup. A lot of England fans, and even non-English fans as well, they had reservations about that list. A lot of names that that they believed should have been on the list were not on the list. And trust me when I say a lot of fans are definitely watching England in this particular campaign. But let's talk about England. You talked about Marcus Rashford being inconsistent in the last game. I don't think it's a one-man problem, because we've had situations where, even Anthony Gordon has been inconsistent at some point during this same campaign. He started Morgan Rogers at some point, and we've not seen him again, also based off the, conversation of when Rogers played, it wasn't consistent enough, like, he played for Aston Villa. It seems to be like a squad problem. Or do you have a different opinion to that, Covenant?
You see, the English team problem is not just about having a manager. From onset, there is something that anytime England national team players, they come together, they seems not to be able to perform well. If you look at this player outside of their country, you look at them at their club, they look like they are world-class players. But gather them together to come and perform, it's always a problem. When they have the likes of Lampard, Gerrard, Scholes, Wayne Rooney, they can't win anything. So it is more or less like they don't have that winning chemistry once they come together. So it doesn't matter whether you bring the greatest manager on earth to come and coach England national team. Look at Portugal. They have, let me say, currently in the world, the best midfield in the world right now. Vitinha,
João Neves and
Bruno Fernandes. What has it done so far in this tournament? Nothing. It shows to you that, you see, club performance does not automatically transform into country. Because in this case, coaches of national team, they have little period to gather their team. In club, you have training session almost every day. But for countries, it is only maybe 1 week or 2 weeks to camp. You gather and you have to get a performance. So you can't just single-handedly blame the manager. They don't have much time. So they have to make use of what they have. And even yesterday, Rashford and this Gordon, if one starts, the other one will come on and play better than the other. That's what they've been doing. Now, look at Bukayo Saka. He is not fit yet. And Tuchel talked about it, that this is his problem. Now, I blame him for picking Madueke. Because if a player of Gerard Bowen profile was on pitch yesterday, I can tell you, he would either score or have an assist. I watched Madueke yesterday.
I stand to be corrected. I've seen Gerard Bowen play for England, and
in friendlies,
in games, games. Would you say, oh, this player is one of the best players for England? And don't forget that when Southgate was even at the end of affair, Euro 2020, he went to the World Cup to Euros with Maguire, Sterling. These guys were underperforming for their various club side, and they were the best team at Euro 2020. See, one thing I believe.
Hold on. England were never the best team at any tournament. Go and watch that.
Sterling.
Italy.
Sterling
They were
Sterling
so
and Maguire.
Maguire. See, let me tell you what they score a goal and do an Arsenal PSG tactics. Let's score first and let's go and block. That's what they did.
Name a better defender than Maguire at Euro 2020. I'm waiting.
I'm going to go for Cellini.
Ahead of Maguire.
Yes. I think Chiellini did better than
Maguire did not concede any goal.
Tournament. It's a tournament. You see,
because he put Saka in the final minute of the game. Hold on.
That's not
football now.
When you are looking at a country, you have to look at, okay, it's not just you showing individual brilliance. Individual brilliance does not automatically means your country is going to, get. And no matter how poor a team is, there will be somebody that is not as poor as others. That's just what Maguire is in that tournament. England under Southgate, they don't have a pattern of playing.
So if I get what you're trying to say correctly, you're trying to say at the Euro 2020, right? Harry Maguire was not exceptional. It was just better than a poor England
He was just
squad.
better than the rest of the
So how exactly can a very poor England squad, like you said, with Harry Maguire inclusive, get to the final
for long
of the Euro 2020 and lost on penalties to Italy, who you, I guess, believe is the exceptional team?
Well, thank God you're a Manchester United fan.
Okay.
When Manchester United was linked with Gareth Southgate, what was your reaction?
Well, I wasn't impressed with that. I wanted a different coach.
Okay. Why are you not
Manchester
impressed
United?
with a coach that just took England to
But Gareth Southgate with England, we cannot put
you said they get to a final.
Yes.
Now that manager, you don't want him in your team. Why?
Okay,
no
so
coach.
because a manager got to the final, it automatically means it's good enough to coach any team.
Is that not what I'm saying?
What
that
are you
the
saying?
fact that England is in the final does not mean they are good. It's the same thing you are saying. If you don't want a manager that took them to final, why do you think the team is good enough?
So you are trying to tell me now that Gareth Southgate, okay, would you say Gareth Southgate is good enough because he went to the final of the Euros?
That is exactly my point.
But he has been consistent
the fact
with
that they're
England.
in the final.
Before Gareth Southgate took over as the coach of England, they've had other coaches.
Yes.
They've had Capello,
Do you think those coaches were good enough?
See, you are
No,
still...
do you think those coaches were good enough?
When I started this conversation, I said...
Because if you are talking about being good enough because you got to the
manager.
final or not.
It is the players. They can't play together. That is it.
Covenant.
I said it at the beginning.
Covenant, I agree with you that it is not the manager who has been the problem of England, but the manager was tasked with the job of picking players for World Cup. And in his words, he said, I pick the players I think that's not about individual brilliance, it's about playing for the team. So you now get to the World Cup and you have been terrible in terms of performance.
Okay, now
wait now.
Okay.
I'm driving home a point. So you are the
Let's drive
manager.
this point home quick.
You're going to a World Cup. You're going with. Can you look at the team and say these are the creative players on the team? He had an opportunity to bring Trent later on. We know in the whole of England, nobody's better than Trent when it comes to assists. He might not be the best defensively, but in terms of assists, in terms of pure creativity, nobody comes close. And then you brought in Chalobah for Livramento. So you see when you look at his lineup, his selection, Mino has not played a game. He has not even played a single minute at the World Cup. When you look at his stand, when you look at his players, it makes no sense to you that he's not playing some people, he's choosing some people over some people because of his preference, not because he wants the team to get better. You're starting a World Cup. Wait, you're starting a World Cup. You went to World Cup with Stones who had 8 games and 4 starts in the Premier League and left Maguire. How can you justify that?
Okay, now let me break down something.
All right,
for you.
well, let's quickly justify this.
You talk about Arnold being the person that delivered the most assists in that Premier. Now, if you look at it, Arnold thrived in a team that played counter-attack. You can't take that away. Go and look at most of...
What has been the strength of England?
Hold on. When you look at how England plays under Tuchel, they don't play counter-attacking football. Arnold is struggling at Real Madrid because they don't play counter-attacking football. So now you can't expect a manager that is not ready to play counter-attacking football to come with a player that only flourish when he see a counter-attacking team.
So you're trying to say that Trent only flourishes in a team that plays counter-attacking football.
It's obvious. Most of his assists in Liverpool, they were either from corner or on counter. It is the starter there. Go and look at it. Now, if you look at Tuchel, he plays more with defense and physicality. That is his own tactics. Arnold, if the game comes to now, we have to defend for our life. Arnold cannot do it. Anybody knows that.
So you go to World Cup to defend.
For a team like
it is going to win it.
Because we actually need to move on from this conversation. But I think I just need to put a pin on something. For a team like England, with all the stars that they've taken to the World Cup, going there to defend. Do you think that is the normal thing for a coach of the hierarchy that you have placed Tuchel to do at the World Cup?
Since they've been attacking, what have they achieved?
All right. Okay. If that's what you're going to say, I'm not going to say more than that because there's a lot to talk about. But time is never really on your side when you're having fun. But let's move on with other countries at the World Cup as well. Aside from DR Congo, because that's the path that we got to England. Morocco is the only surviving team from the teams that have played so far, at the World Cup. And we are also, concerned about the fact that would we see Algeria, Egypt, Cape Verde, or Ghana move forward to join Morocco? Because as it stands, even in among African countries, the two teams that played the final of the AFCON are the two. Well, if I stand to be corrected, are the two strongest African teams that we have right now. They're talking about Morocco and Senegal. Now Senegal is out sadly due to their own mistakes and problems against Belgium. They lost 3-2 in the extra time to crash out of the round of 32 at the World Cup. Do we see any other team joining Morocco? And do we even think that Morocco has what it takes to go all the way at the World Cup this year?
Well, if you look at it, I think if Africans are going to progress in this World Cup, there is a referee that we need. If you remember the African Cup of Nations that was hosted by Cameroon, there is a referee that always blew his final whistle at 86, 87. I don't know if you remember him. It's happened twice. He did it the first time, 86 minutes, he blew final whistle. They called him back that the game is not done. 88 minutes, he blew the game. Because if you look at African teams in this World Cup, once you get to that 80 minutes on the clock, whether they know how to stop playing football or something, I don't know. Côte d'Ivoire, Haaland go against them, came at the 80-something minutes. Senegal, 80-something minutes. Congo too, it was Hurricane, last goal was around 80-something minutes. Why is it that you play the whole game to that point and then you stop getting out to play football? There are some games.
But do you think this is a problem or a coincidence?
I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't think it's a coincidence. See, when you are playing with physicality, because that's what African countries do the most. That's our pattern, physicality. You have to know that at a point in time in the game, you are going to get tired. So you have to have a plan B. When we are tired, what next? That is what they've refused to get in this. Because most of them, they play that physicality kind of game for a long period of time. And the moment they, take a break for that physicality, the other team take advantage of that. So they have to have a plan B.
Do you agree with what he's saying? Do you think it's a coincidence or it's a problem like yes?
I think every team needs to know how to manage a game. And what game management what it means is when it gets to a crucial point in the game, or critical point in the game, you have to find every means to either defend a lead or even manage the game, probably past extra time. If not for penalties, if not the likes of Paraguay and Morocco will not be in the next round, which is a good thing. At least they were able to score a goal and ensure that they defended 120 minutes and got a result. But I'm saying that you cannot be 2-0 up and get to 80 minutes and still lose a game. I've seen that in the Premier League. I've seen that in big games, even bigger games. But we're talking about the World Cup. You know that once you lose this game, you are off. And Senegal played against a weaker Belgium. Before Belgium could score in that game, they had to remove De Bruyne. And that was like the only creative player in that team. And they removed De Bruyne and still got the win. I feel like these African teams, like you said, it's not a tactic, it's their strength. You can only play with what you have. You cannot borrow Messi to come and play for Senegal but the players they have are physical, very physical players. You look at Morocco. Morocco does not rely totally on physicality. They are more physical than most of these European teams, but they don't rely solely on physicality. They are tactical, they are flexible. When I said Morocco is the best African team, you said Senegal. I said it's a lie. See, it's not about this, is about how you can maneuver your game. It's about how you can play yourself into a game. And we've seen that with Morocco against Brazil, against Scotland, against Netherlands, and against the last game it's not a coincidence. These guys are good.
So with this, you're saying that Morocco is the best African team in the tournament, and that brings me back to the original question I started with. Do we see Morocco going all the way to possibly maybe even win the World Cup? And do we see between Algeria, Egypt, Cape Verde, or Ghana, if any other person will be joining them in this fit?
Because Morocco might face France, and we know that France is currently the best team. France have not even used their energy yet, and they're already in the round of 16. Now imagine when they now decide to use their strength. But we don't know what's going to happen. But as it stands, it's just like France having 70% and Morocco 30%. I'm not saying that anything cannot happen, between Morocco and Canada. But I feel that Morocco has what it takes to defeat Canada and move to the next round quarterfinal. So against France, whatever tactics the coach needs to employ, he needs to employ physicality, defend, go all out, eat the team. And it's not like I said, Upamecano is not one of the best world-class defender for me. So he's still vulnerable. Mike Mayan is vulnerable too. Lucas Digne, Theo Hernandez. So they have weak links in defense, and these guys can exploit them. So 70% for France, 30% for Morocco. Now back to other teams. It depends on your opponent. Your opponent will determine if you can move to the next round. For Egypt, I've seen the way Egypt. One of the teams that I never expected to play so well at this World Cup has been Egypt. They've not only defended, they've played every game as if they want to win that game, and they've delivered. Salah at that point, delivering at that highest level. I might be biased towards Salah because one of my legends. So, I'm going to say the facts. But he has performed beyond doubt, and anything can happen. And Algeria too, they play so well. And so why not? Why not move to the round of 16? But I don't see them going past round of 16 because you are going to have tougher opponents.
All right, quickly, in a minute, do you think Morocco can go all the way? And who else do you think might be joining them?
If you look at this World Cup, now he talks about Morocco and France. France has not even overcome Paraguay yet. Morocco is yet to overcome.
You think
Canada.
Paraguay can be a problem for France?
Do you think Paraguay can be a problem for Germany?
Well, Germany they've had their woes in the past few competitions.
Okay.
But we're talking about a France team that is one of the best teams in the world right now against Paraguay. I mean, I'm not writing off Paraguay because it's a game of 90 minutes at the end of the day. But do you think that Paraguay can be a problem for France?
Well, they can. That's just it. Because in a day where something is not going to go in your favor, it's not going to. When Barcelona has one of the best squad in the world, they didn't win the Champions League back to back.
So they lost to Inter, a better team.
To who?
Inter, a better team.
Chelsea. Pep Guardiola's.
But this France that we're talking about,
I'm just telling you,
won
no team,
the 2018 World Cup,
team is
got to the final of the 2022 World Cup.
It's not the same squad.
I mean,
it's not the same squad.
Aside from the same squad, it's the same manager. They have a couple of players from that squad as well.
Okay.
They got to the final in 2022, and like I said, you can correct me, but I think they are one, if not the best team in the world right now, barring maybe a couple of other teams that you can mention. Maybe
they have been the best team at the World Cup in the last 3 years. Best team at the World Cup.
See, this is what I'm saying. Now, there was a time that Spain was at the pinnacle of football. Everybody respect them. They only have one World Cup to show for it. To tell you that the fact that you have the best squad does not mean you are going to be winning all games. There are days that everything will not just work for you. This World Cup has shown that it can happen to anybody. Okay. That's just it. So what I think is, if anybody is going to stop France, if Morocco, if they have the chance to play France, if they can overcome Canada, the person they need to stop is Olise. If you can stop him, you can nullify France attack. Because he's at the heart of anything that team is doing.
So without Olise, you think France is not as lethal?
So far, what they have shown is at the heart of it. Others might be scoring the goals, but it's the one that is creating most of their chances. So if you can stop the person that is, creating most of their chances, I believe you can stop them.
All right then. There's still a lot to talk about as regards the World Cup. It's Culture 11. This is the culture. We talk a whole lot about football, and the World Cup is still on definitely. Aside from the World Cup, we're also in the transfer market. A lot of stories are definitely going on. But before we get into the transfer news, let's talk about one more thing about the World Cup. The USMNT's victory over Bosnia was overshadowed by Folarin Balogun's controversial red card, and this has led to a conversation that has dragged the name of one of football's greats into the conversation again, talking about Lionel Messi. The greatest. Okay, then it's what you think. Well, it's a game of opinions at the end of the day.
Football did not start in 2001.
A lot of people have different opinions. If you think Messi is the greatest, you're 100% correct. If you think Ronaldo or Pele or Maradona, everybody's 100% correct. I don't even get energy for that kind of conversation right now. Okay. But yes, one thing happened, in the game between Argentina and Algeria, I guess, where Messi stomped on the foot of an Algerian player. It was, according to the rules of football, that tackle is supposed to be a clear red card, but it was not given. And then the same thing happened between, Folarin Balogun and another, player yesterday, where he also had the same tackle, I would say. and he was shown a red card, for that. But the coach of the United States men's national team is not having it. They eventually won the game, but he decided to call out FIFA, and he also made reference to the tackle that happened between Lionel Messi and the Algerian player, which has gotten a lot of people confused. Well, I wouldn't say confused, but I just think opinions are flying all around. Some people believe it is not the same, situation. Some people believe the Messi situation wasn't a red card, but the Balogun situation was a red card. And some people believe both situations required, a red card during the game. But let's get opinions quickly. Smurf, what do you think about that particular, incident between Folarin Balogun and Lionel Messi?
I think this world is Messi's world and we're just living in it. My opinion, like I said, my opinion. So I've seen a lot of Messi get away with a lot of things, and I've seen him win awards he doesn't deserve. If you
let's move away from that. Let's talk about this.
Wait now.
If we start this one, this conversation don't go end. Let's talk about
I'm
the red card.
I'm going to start from somewhere.
Uh-huh.
I'm talking about Messi getting undeserved favor. Is he one of the best or one of the greatest in when it comes to football? Yes. Sport, yes. Is he the best? I don't know. But he's one of the greatest. So you look at the situation. It is a very similar situation between the Folarin's red card and Messi's play on. It was a similar situation. So when it comes to consistencies, referees are humans too, and VAR are being used by referees. So at the end of the day, the fact that the referees are using the VAR nullifies whatever you want. It's what the referee wants that's going to stand.
But it's because of the inconsistencies of referees. That's why VAR was introduced.
The referee's decision supersedes VAR.
Of course.
So if you're to use this computer, if you do things and there are errors, and you have to use the computer to still do the same thing, if you're not competent, if you get carried away by emotions, because it's Messi. I mean, why do you think somebody who loves Messi dearly would want to red card Messi? I mean, it can happen. We've seen referees who are emotional. A referee was removed because of his comment against Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp. So it means that you can be emotional. You're a human being. For me, it's.
So are you trying to say now that Messi got away with that incident because the officials?
Because it's Messi. And then look at Folarin's red card. If you had said, it didn't. For Messi, that was not a red card. Then for Folarin, it should not be a red card. But if it's a red card for Messi, it should be. If it's a red card for Folarin, it should be a red card for Messi. I always preach consistency. If you are consistent, please be consistent. If the rule says once somebody kicks somebody behind his back or matches the person behind at the back of his with the stud, red card both of them. If you now say, maybe the intention, because I looked at Folarin's intention, it was the same thing with Messi. They were chasing the ball. It wasn't an intentional. This thing. So, but if you give Folarin red card, why didn't you give Messi red card?
All right. Do you think the situation with Messi, would you just tag it as inconsistency, or you would call it preferential treatment? Because a lot of people have thrown that into the conversation a lot.
Well, when you are that good, like Messi is, like when you are the greatest, people will have sentiments against you. Like,
so you think what's going on now is just sentiment?
I never said that. I never said that. I'm just setting an example. Because now, when you want to start, you have to start making reference to awards that Messi have won. That's not.
I never mentioned awards.
I
never mentioned the awards.
I just said
awards.
Most people from that side, they are always triggered.
From what side?
From that side, from Mr. Chibuzo's side.
Who is Mr. Chibuzo?
They're always triggered.
No, let's speak with clear facts. Who is Mr. Chibuzo? I don't know any Chibuzo as a footballer.
The person that has played in 6 World Cups and has just 10 goals.
Does he have a name?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Okay.
Also,
now I get
so
it.
whenever they are talking about Messi, his fans are always triggered. So, and I understand the sentiment. Now,
no, but I think we see same too as well. When we talk about Cristiano, Messi fans are always, they're always agitated.
Well, you see that when he was talking, I was just looking at him. What is the award that Messi won in the past has to do with what we are talking about?
Okay, let's talk about this. Let's leave awards from the past. Let's put it aside.
Okay.
The incident between Argentina and Algeria, where Messi stomped on the foot of his opponent, and the one that happened between, one that happened with Folarin Balogun as well. Do you think it is the same thing? Do you think the, officiating should have gone the same way it happened for Folarin, for Messi, or you think they are different? What exactly is your opinion on that?
Messi's foul against Algeria is a red card. But now it is not given. You can't now expect that because a mistake was made in the first time, then everybody that do it, we should allow it. It doesn't work that way. okay, now we have learnt our lesson that this is a red card. Any situation that occurs like this, we are going to punish. If Messi does it again, it's definitely going to be a red card.
Remind me.
So are you saying that they should have allowed 2 mistakes to happen?
Wait,
so then at the end of the World Cup,
remind me, between Argentina and Algeria, when the incident happened, was VAR consulted?
yeah,
VAR was consulted, which means they took out time during the game to, critically look at, the
incident.
foul and the incident between Lionel Messi and the Algerian player. And then after critically looking at it, they came up to say it is not a red card.
Well,
but the same VAR was also consulted for the incident yesterday that involved Fulani Balogun, and then the result is that it is a clear red card. So at that point, do you
that
think
if a mistake was made the first time,
okay,
you
would
can't
you call
expect
that a
them-
mistake though? Because it's one of the things we talk about with football. VAR was introduced because of inconsistencies on the part of referees and mistakes. They say, okay, they didn't see some. We're talking of offside, wrong, different
Goal line
goal line
technology.
technology, and all of that. And if that same technology was consulted, and it is clear for everybody to see in the video that was shown, Messi stomped on the foot of the opponent, studs up. It wasn't even with the ball. With Fulani Balogun, they were trying to contend for the ball. For Messi's incident, the opponent already got the ball. He was going to tackle, and then he stomped on the feet. But I mean, for the sake of conversations, let's say it's a similar incident. You went to VAR, you saw the video, Messi clearly stomped on the foot, studs up, of the Algerian player. Okay. Would you call that a mistake?
See, you are still not getting my point.
All right,
This is what happens when you are talking about Messi.
I said
this
should
is
have been a record. That's what I said.
Covenant.
Okay.
But the fact that it was not given then does not mean they are going to permit it henceforth.
I'm saying, are you calling that a mistake?
Wait,
or it was intentionally
are you not familiar with PGMOL in Premier League? That they
No,
will
but
do
we're talking
all
about
the-
the World Cup.
No. Calm
We're
down.
talking about the World Cup,
I'm
not
making a citation.
PGMOL.
I'm making a citation.
Okay.
They use VAR in the Premier League, right?
Okay.
They make mistakes and come back to apologize. Do you say they did not check the VAR? No. But a mistake is a mistake because you learn from it.
Nobody has come out to
So
say
that's
that.
what they are
Nobody
doing.
has.
Hold
Nobody
on.
has. The body, the referee body for
Okay.
World Cup has not come out to say that Messi's this
Incident
was
is
a
Okay,
was a-
is
was
the
a
Messi
mistake.
incident the only error that has been made in this World Cup?
No, don't
So why are
deviate.
you- why-
Don't deviate.
why
When
are
you started,
always
you said
on
you
Messi?
said
That
you
is
said
it.
you said
He is like the
you said I support
Hold
Ronaldo.
on.
You said
Hold
I
on.
support Chibuzo.
Hold on.
I'm
Hold
not.
on.
I'm not
Hold
even.
on.
I'm not even a
Hold
Ronaldo
on.
fan. I'm not even a United fan. I'm not even a United. I'm a Liverpool fan.
You don't
So
have to be a United
wait
fan to
now.
be a Ronaldo fan.
Wait
Don't-
now.
don't-
I
don't
don't
mix
even.
it
I
together.
don't even like Ronaldo.
Oh.
I don't even like Ronaldo. But I'm saying that. See, when you look at
who is the
incidents,
greatest footballer?
when you look
say
at
you don't like Ronaldo.
for
Who is the
me,
greatest footballer
for me,
for you?
I feel like you cannot outright. Football is not black or white.
Mention the name.
Football is not
Who?
black or white, and football did not just start in
Okay.
2000.
greatest
Before we
footballer.
are not sharing trophies.
Did you
or
watch? Did
crowns
you watch
here.
Ian
Who?
Croft? Did you watch? Did you watch Pele?
Oh my
Did you watch
gosh.
Maradona?
All right.
Who?
When
You
it
can't
comes
say one player is
to
great
when
of
it
all
comes
time
to
now.
when
You
it comes
can't.
to legends of the game, I believe there are a lot of names that can be in
I didn't ask
contention for
legend
that.
of the
Now
game.
let
I
us
said who is
talk.
the greatest.
Let us
Mention
talk.
one
Leave
name.
the greatest. Let us talk
I
about
have
this
a name.
incident. I am saying that would you call that what happened between Argentina and Algeria a mistake?
I said a mistake is a mistake because you learn from it. They corrected their mistake yesterday.
All right.
And
it
they didn't come
seems-
out to explain.
You know what? It seems Covenant is not willing to hit the nail on the head in this conversation. And I wouldn't like to waste precious time. I believe that football might be a game of opinions, but in your heart of hearts, you know when thief the thief. But no, leave it like that. All right, moving away from the World Cup. Don't forget it's still called Joy 11. My name is Josh Blackboy Coffee. Smurfy is right here. Covenant is right here. And football is always a heated conversation. If you can't take the hit, get out of the kitchen. Now let's talk about the transfer market. Tottenham is a name I never at any point in time imagined would be this active in the transfer market. I mean, we expected Manchester United, we expected Real Madrid. Those ones they've been doing crazy work ever since, even before the transfer market opened, they've been doing crazy work. We expected Barcelona, we expected Arsenal. I mean, Arteta said they would be active in the transfer market to ensure that their team is better. And also Manchester United, like I said. But Tottenham is one name that a lot of us never expected would be this active. So far, they've signed Sandro Tonali from Newcastle United in a club record deal worth £100 million. Mateus Fernandes also signed from Western United for £85 million. He set their club record temporarily before they signed Tonali. They also signed Jean-Paul Van Hecke from Brighton. And Hove Albion for £52 million. Andy Robertson, arrived on a free transfer from Liverpool, same as Marcos Senesi from Bournemouth, a free transfer from Bournemouth as well. Martin Dubravka also arrived on a free transfer from Burnley as well. And they are currently monitoring Eli Krupi Jr. from Bournemouth as well. This is a team that has nothing but Premier League, FA Cup, and Carabao Cup to play next season. And they have been going back to back, with teams that have more competitions to play, for players that these same teams would definitely want as well. Yes, they've been throwing the money all around, but what is going on?
So, see, I'm happy that it's Tottenham because we know what Tottenham is. Sign Ronaldo, sign Messi, get to Tottenham. We don't work here.
If they get
So-
to Tottenham, it's not work.
It's sweet. Anywhere he goes, it works.
Oh yeah, no, I see.
So you look at Tottenham and you look at the players they've bought. I've looked at the list and I feel like just one player on that list is a near world class player for me, and that's Tonali.
Okay.
Matheus Fernandes has relocated with 2 teams back to back. He did that with
Southampton and West
2
Ham.
years ago. He did that with West Ham last year. And you ask me, this guy played most of the games. If you're that good, you should have been able to at least. I'm not saying that one player can make a team better, but you are the art of everything, midfield. And I feel like you should have done better. And you relegated. 1 is a mistake. 2 is obvious that you are not on that level. But you can get to Tottenham, get better. But I doubt if, because we've seen a lot of bigger players, good players go to Tottenham and become a mess. We've seen players get injured. The injury crisis is a big problem because Tottenham already has a big squad.
Let me reiterate something quickly from what you've said. You're saying Matheus Fernandes is not good enough because he has relegated with 2 teams before moving to Tottenham.
I'm saying that he's good, but he's not good enough. He's not one player that you look at and say, oh, Tottenham are getting this guy. They're getting a steal or for that amount. You look at Senesi. Senesi is good, but for
That's
free.
only free, yeah.
Yeah, for free. I feel like if he was that good, if he was near world class, better than maybe better bang average, team should have gone head to head, to try to get him. And you have Robertson, of course, leadership. That's the only thing that you can assure me that Robertson is going to bring to Tottenham because he's done. We saw him at Liverpool
About
2
Van
years.
Hecke and Dubravka.
Van Hecke, you saw Dubravka was at United, and United,
just one game.
United could not, did not make his this permanent. The only thing that I look at Tottenham and say that can be the changing this and the saving grace for Tottenham is Roberto Di Zerbi, not these players, because we've seen a lot of good players, a lot of quality players. Kudus, Javi Simons. I can give a long list of players who have gone to Tottenham and have become just there.
Average.
So you're going to Tottenham. You're leaving. For me, I look at Tonali. I look at these guys. You're leaving Newcastle. You're leaving West Ham. You have an opportunity to play for United. You have an opportunity to play for Arsenal. Why Tottenham? But it's a good one for Tottenham. They're getting these guys. What to do with them is another thing. But Di Zerbi is there. Let's see what he does with these guys. But if it was the Tottenham that we know, the Tottenham we saw post Pochettino, we know that okay, these guys are just going to go there and become terrible at the end of the day.
But
so I'm not baffled.
Let's look at this players moving to Tottenham. Do you think that it is because of De Zerbi, because a lot of people have been saying the De Zerbi factor, or because of the money that the club has been throwing at these players and the clubs that they're coming from?
Well, I think when you look at Tottenham, most people are not paying attention to the club. Now, this is a team that escaped relegation for 2 seasons in a row. And now, Daniel Levy is gone. That's the man that nearly drowned that team. He doesn't spend.
How?
Calm down. He doesn't spend that much. And if
Oh,
you
you're
want
not
to,
that much. Okay.
if you want to go for his players,
Okay.
they sign contracts without release clause. He will determine how much you are worth. But he's gone now. They have another person. Now, if you look at Tottenham, if they are going to progress as a team, the first issue they have to address is how does our player get injured so much?
They have a very long injury
that's the
list,
first
especially
problem.
from last
Now-
season.
11.
Yeah.
If you now look at the
What do you mean
signings,
by that?
Madison is still there.
if you now look at their
Kulusevski is
signings,
still there.
Even Kudus as well.
if you now look at their signings, I don't think the money are too much. Because if you are, as a Liverpool fan, are telling me the money is too much, how much do you sign Isaac? How much do you sign Florian Wirtz? What have they done?
But
since
wait,
signing?
let's.
I'm just making
You
citations.
know what? I've been
Now,
seeing this conversation as regards money. Yes, a lot of pounds and euros, millions of it, have been thrown at different names from different clubs. But let's look at these these names critically. I mean, Chelsea have done theirs. United have done theirs. Liverpool have done theirs. Tottenham have done theirs. Okay, Arsenal did, I think about one.
Declan Rice.
With Declan Rice.
£100 million.
And a couple of Madrid has also done theirs. Barcelona at some point. I think they also should be in that conversation as well.
Gordon is £80 million.
£80 million. So what I'm saying is, for even City as well.
Yeah.
I mean, City just signed Elliot Anderson for about 116 million pounds. Caicedo was signed for about 115.
150 million pounds.
Okay, 150. It shall pass 100. Good.
Enzo Fernandez was more.
Enzo Fernandez was also over 100.
Yeah.
Declan Rice for over 100. Florian Wirtz for over 100. Alexander Isak for over 100. Jack Grealish for 100. We've had Sandro Tonali now for 100. These are names that have been put in that bracket. How many of these names actually worth 100 or over 100? Then, because let's get to it, because yes, I understand how business works. If you can get 100 million pounds for something that I believe is less than what I have to offer, of course I want 100 million pounds for what I have to offer as well. But let's look at the sides of the teams that are not willing to pay this amount. Because for Tottenham getting Sandro Tonali and Matheus Fernandes, 185 million pounds in total combined for both of them in a day actually.
Available funds.
A lot of names have been mentioned. Manchester United have been mentioned. Arsenal have been mentioned. Who else have been mentioned again, saying, "Oh, you guys allowed Tottenham to snap up these two players. They are good enough, but are they 185 million pounds good?" Sandro Tonali is a wonderful player, no doubt, but is he worth 100 million pounds? Let's ignore the fact that City decided to splash 116 million on Elliot Anderson, who we also still believe is not worth 100 million pounds. Matheus Fernandes, 85 million pounds. Sandro Tonali, 100 million pounds. What exactly is going on here?
Well, if you look at West Ham, now, the moment they got relegated, there is a situation on ground. They have to balance their books. I think they have to raise over 150 million pounds in sales to be able to, balance their books. Now, if you decide to go and visit that kind of market that I want to buy from you, you know that you are ready to pay expensive. Because you know they are in a situation where they need a lot of money. And they said, these are players, if you want to buy them, these are the price tag. If you go for them, it's not about whether they are good enough or not again. This is the situation the club is in. That's why. On normal day, if West Ham is still in the Premier League, Matheus Fernandes is never going to worth 85 million. It's there.
I think it's about the teams who go for those players.
Well, I think it's a conversation.
Before anything goes for them.
Southampton also tried the same thing
with
2
Lavia.
seasons ago.
With Lavia.
Even with this same Matheus Fernandes. They tried the same thing when United went for him, when Southampton relegated. They also tried the same 100 million
once you relegate,
conversation.
you are in a dry situation.
Covenant.
You have to make sales. And it's before Tottenham come for this guy, they already set that price tag. Anybody that wants this guy is for 85 million. So if you think he is good enough, come for him.
Covenant.
So
I think this situation that we're facing now, it did not just get to now. It was the days that Madrid spent 100 and something million euros on Bale, so much on Ronaldo, so much on Kaka. Chelsea started buying the likes of Fernando Torres 50. Manchester United bought Van der Sar for how much? Bought Rooney from Everton for how much? So it's something that has been going on. It's not just now. So I feel
Let's not forget Barcelona and Neymar too.
No,
and PSG.
those ones.
PSG
I don't want to talk about
110 for loan. 110.
Let's not even talk about that. We'll talk about the Premier League now. So I think if all these teams that wants to buy Matheus Fernandes says, if you don't agree 15, I don't see even in this terrible market window, I don't see Fernandes exceeding 60, 65. If those teams say we're not going to pay more than 50, if you like, by the time the season is almost going, the summer is almost going to an end, they will be forced to sell because they are in a situation whereby they need money. So I think that is how it works. But because Tottenham feels like if we don't pay so much for these guys, Man United are trying to play that game with Matheus Fernandes. They said we are going to pull out, so we're not going to pay because they know that when it gets to a stage, these guys will literally beg and say, please come and take this player for any amount. But Tottenham knows that there's nothing that Tottenham can use, can leverage on to attract a player currently. So it's money. If it's not money. No, now you talk about Tonali. If you can have Declan Rice in your team for £100 million, if you can have Casedo for 100 and whatever, if you can have Enzo Fernandez, if you can buy Florian Wirtz for that amount, there's nothing stopping you from buying Tonali for 100 million pounds. 100 million you look at last season, one of the players who, in terms of, you look at him, his style of play is similar to Declan Rice. He can play as a 6, but his major role is box to box, arriving into the box, shooting. You know, his longs, the way he complements the midfield of Gumares and this other guy, Joelinton. So the way he complements, and don't forget that he moved from AC Milan to Newcastle. So he was already a high-profile player before Newcastle.
I still don't think it was 100 million.
Okay, then Casedo was what 100 million. Casedo had 1.5 season.
Hold on.
1.5 beautiful season. Declan had two beautiful seasons.
All right.
Tonali has been playing for years.
27. You can't expect me to splash 100 million on a 26, 27-year-old player when maybe he played for 3 or 5 more years. Declan Rice, Caicedo,
how old was Kane bought?
Kane.
100 million euros.
Was Kane bought?
See, that's why I said situation.
How much was Kane bought?
Bro, Kane, Tonali in the same discussion. It's not possible. See, Kane, how many strikers in the world of football right now can give Bayern Munich what Harry Kane is
I'm talking about, you're saying you cannot splash a 100 million on a player who is 26, 27. I'm giving you a situation where
and I'm telling you that for the case of Kane, Kane is a special player. Kane is a world class. Tonali is near world class. World class is different from near world class.
Declan was not world class. Casemiro was not world class.
They were young.
Lewandowski, look. Let me give you a scenario. When Barca got Lewandowski from Bayern, how much did they pay?
How much?
Was it up to 100 million pounds?
How old was Lewandowski then?
How old?
Good.
You're saying
this conversation can keep going on and on. No doubt, I understand. But like I said, time is no longer on our side. Of course, we still have a lot of time to do this, and I will be talking about this in our subsequent episodes. But let's not forget that there will be a lot of fixtures going on, especially in the round of 16. Let's talk about the confirmed fixtures already. Canada versus Morocco on the 4th of July, on Saturday. It will happen in Houston, USA. Kickoff is by 6 p.m. The host, Canada, against Africa's last hope. I'm guessing. Let's see if Canada will be able to do it. Or even
Covenant can put his money on Paraguay and Canada.
Let's talk about the game happening on July 5 on Sunday between Brazil and Norway as well. It will be in New Jersey, USA, and the kickoff is by 9 p.m. as well. On the 6th of July, on Monday, we'll be having Mexico versus England. I think I'm actually invested in this particular game. Mexico has been flying.
Yes,
4 wins. Yet to concede.
Yeah.
Right. In the World Cup. England, they have their woes. Will England finally be coming home? We get to see as well. Also, USA versus Belgium. Kickoff 1 a.m. Seattle, USA on the 7th of July on Tuesday. And I think that's pretty much it. Yes, for the confirmed fixtures in the round of 16 so far. When the rest are confirmed, we'll definitely let you know as well. It's been a pleasure talking with both of you on this podcast. I don't know when you became a Messi fan. I've known you for a while now.
No, you just have to. No, hold on. I'm not a Messi fan.
Okay.
I'm a fan of greatness.
Oh.
Yeah, that's all.
So Messi is greatness for you.
It's obvious.
So does that make you a Messi fan now?
And Pele
I
is
said
not
I'm
great.
a fan of greatness.
No.
No. Calm down. If you are doing great, I'll be your fan. No matter who you are.
So who is doing great?
The greatest footballer of all time is Messi.
So does that make you a Messi fan?
I'm a fan of greatness.
All right then. Thank you so much.
So football started in 2000. I don't. No worry. I don't hear you like that.
And that's all for this week on this episode of Culture 11. Definitely next week we'll be checking out all the drama that will happen in the round of 16 up until the quarterfinals. And I will be talking a lot about football. If you enjoyed today's debate, don't forget to subscribe, like, and also tell us your opinions in the comment, because we'll be back again next week, Friday. It's been a pleasure. My name is Josh the Black Boy Coffee, and I'm out.
That's a wrap.
No vex. I'm not used to camera. I told you. I'm just trying to. Don't be Messi fan. I know we don't talk before now.
Now waiting is saying good. You not be Messi fan.
No, don't be Messi fan. Eh? This one.
Now act for you now. So no good.
Guy, how far you now? Who bring you come here?
Ronaldo na
He good.
Oh!
He's him.